everybody. Welcome to 10 to 10. I got some friends here with me. Kristen, Juliana, glad y'all are here. Thank you. So excited. If you have been following me at 10 at 10, we've been talking about race each week. We've had some great discussions with some wonderful people who are wise and knowledgeable and who have been so beneficial to me. But y'all, I had to get somebody younger. I said, I need some young people to talk about race a little bit. So I got these sweet girls, Carthaginians, Lee County, hashtag living it up in Lee. So let me introduce her to you. Now, this is Juliana, and she's going to be a junior at the University of Southern Miss. Golden Eagles, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yay! Juliana, tell us when you introduce yourself to somebody, what's some terms that come to mind that you use? What do you say?
Well, usually when I start and I'm like, hey, my name is Juliana, I'm Hispanic, but most people think, Hispanic, Mexican, because it is the closest to the U.S. And I'm like, well, I'm not Mexican, but I am from Argentina. And then I have to explain.
Yay, I love it. And she's bilingual, and I'm very impressed with that. And this is my friend Kristen. And Kristen, what do you say when people say, what do they ask you? Where are you from?
Well, I take the more plain terms with it. I just normally tell people that I'm half Filipino and half white.
There we go.
Laugh it off.
I like it. And y'all are 100% beautiful. So I love that. So in your experience, of course, Kristen's going to be a senior in high school. So you're a little bit closer to the high school experience and you're closer to the college experience. But in your experience, and either one of y'all would like to answer, what is some ways that you've experienced racism personally? We're going to kick it off with getting to the heart of the matter here. Sorry about that, y'all. But what are some ways you've experienced racism at school? Or have you, I guess I should say.
I have once, but it was just a little thing, and it didn't really bother me as much, but I have experienced it, and yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about that experience? Well, first of all, she went to a private school with all Caucasians, right? Yes. Or mostly, or were you the only?
I was the only non-white in my graduating class.
Wow. Okay. Tell us about that.
I grew up with them, so from the time we were 5 in kindergarten until senior year, they knew me and I knew them, and they knew that I was a hard worker. So like, there really weren't any prejudice within my class. There was a guy that was younger than me that was like, oh, like just go back to where you came from. I didn't say anything to him, and he was just, and it came out. It's okay. Everything worked out. He apologized, and that's it. But that's the only thing in my 13 years at Lincoln County.
Wow, that's amazing. What a blessing. That's not everybody's story for people of race in our county, in our state, or in our nation. But I'm glad it was yours. What about you? Did you experience racism? She goes to a public high school.
At my school, I didn't really experience much, but you see how people treat you. Like they'll probably treat me less sometimes and think that I'm not good enough or think that I'm not capable of it just because of my race. But you have to work for that respect by respecting others and putting in all your effort too.
I like that your response is respecting them anyway. Now, is that an easy thing or a hard thing to do when you encounter racism?
No, it's hard.
Sort of like in Philippians too, where Paul encourages us to exercise humility and consider others as better than ourselves. That's just not a natural response, is it? How do you do that? What about your faith leads you to having that response of, let me consider where they're coming from? How'd you get there? Or how do you get there?
Just having humility with people and seeing that you don't know what they've went through. You don't know what they've experienced, and just having humility for those people and just remembering that I'm not better than them and they're not better than me.
Just consider them. Wow, that's great. What about you, G?
I have the pretty much the same approach as Kristen did. It is hard to respect them sometimes when they do treat you like you're different, because you are, but at the same time, like at the end of the day, we're all still striving for the same thing and wanting the same thing. So
I like that. And that's something I think my age group has missed, is that we forget that as people, as looking at the gospel-centered approach to racism and racial reconciliation, is that we're all created in God's image. And our generation has kind of forgotten that. It sounds like y'all have got a great grasp on that. So what brings about that level of maturity? What brings about that awareness of others? I mean, did your family of origin? Did you learn it at church? Or what? Just tell me how you got there. How did you get there?
Well, my mom, for one, has always been like, don't let somebody treat you less than what you are, because you should know your worth. And as a Christian, I know my worth, and my worth is in Jesus Christ, and it's not in what somebody else thinks of me. And I do struggle with that.
Wow.
But I just have to remember, it's my worth is not in what somebody else thinks of me, and it is in Jesus Christ.
That God is the creator of all people. Is that kind of for you too, Kristen? Did you get that perspective from her mother?
My mom has been really good at instilling that in me, and just remembering that my worth is in the Lord, and I don't need to seek approval or seek acceptance from anybody else.
And when you know that and you rest in that, you're peaceful in that, and that projects to other people too. Well, tell me how I can, and I say for me, for people listening too, but how can I start meaningful conversations with someone of a different race? What are some of the questions that, we start this thing, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm always feeling, am I saying the right thing? Like, I love geography and I love to travel. So I love to know where people are from. So for me, that's never a, where are you from? It's never a negative question. It's always a, interested in, have I traveled there? And if not, what are the great things about going there? Because I love travel. But what are some ways that we can start conversation? Give me some practical ways that we can start conversation. People of a certain age can start conversations with someone of a different race.
Well, for me, I like the straight up response, the straight up question, hey, where are you from? Because it makes me feel like somebody has an interest in me.
Okay, great.
And it's very they're interested in my culture and what I have to say and what I have to offer.
Absolutely.
And just more about who I am.
I love that. But not when they say, go back to where you came
Oh,
from. Yeah,
yes.
don't say that. Yeah. What about you, Kristen? What are some ways that people can approach that?
Well, there's just so much fear in that. People afraid of saying the wrong thing, and if you're just being honest and you have good intentions of learning about somebody's culture, learning about where they came from, where their roots are from, you don't have to have fear in that, as long as you talk to somebody
and approach it with kindness. 1 John 4:7-8 says, beloved, I learned this in the King James. Let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. But he that loveth not does not know God, for God is love. So it's that love and that kindness that we project. Do you think that makes us an open road for conversation? I love that. Well, let me encourage you listeners again, as we have said every single week. Start a conversation with someone of race. Right now, of course, our hearts are all sad for what's happening in the African American community, and we're trying to take great strides into correcting some things that maybe have been done wrong in the past. Definitely have been done wrong. We're trying to make great strides. But I want to encourage you, no matter what the races are around you, have those conversations. Begin that friendships. Make that lasagna. Have them over. Y'all like lasagna?
I love lasagna.
I can't cook lasagna, but me and Stouffer's going to have y'all over. So, friendships in love based on a gospel response to loving others and loving people in the world around you. Does that sound good? Adios.